Are you tired of constantly missing your goals and making self-destructive plays? Well, don't worry, we've all been there. But with a little bit of practice and some helpful tips, you can transform yourself into a pro in no time. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Rocket League looks intimidating and intense, with all those crazy car acrobatics and high-speed action. But trust me, even the best players started out just like you, struggling to hit the ball and constantly self-destructing. But with a little bit of patience and some solid tips, you can go from playing like this to playing like this. So, without further ado, here are my top 10 tips for improving your Rocket League SideSwipe gameplay. Tip number 1, stop playing on autopilot. It's easy to get into a rut and just mindlessly bash the ball around, but that's not going to get you very far. Instead, try to be more mindful of your actions and think about your next move before you make it. Tip number 2, learn to play defense. Sure, scoring goals is fun, but it's just as important to know how to prevent your opponents from scoring. Try working on your positioning and blocking skills to become a more well-rounded player. Tip number 3, watch your opponent. Pay attention to what your opponent is doing on the field and try to anticipate their next move. This will help you position yourself better and make it easier to defend against their attacks. Tip number 4, slow down. It can be tempting to just floor it and hope for the best, but sometimes slowing down and being more calculated can pay off in the long run. Try taking a more measured approach to your plays and see how it affects your game. Tip number 5, mix it up. Don't just stick to the same moves over and over again. Try out different techniques and approaches to keeping your opponents guessing. This leads into my next tip. Number 6, play mind games. Don't be afraid to mess with your opponent's heads a little bit. Try faking out a shot, or making unexpected moves to throw them off balance, then go in for the goal. Tip number 7, stop forfeiting. If you're constantly quitting mid-game, you're not going to get very far. Stick it out and see how you can improve, even if things aren't going your way. Number 8, be more reactive. Let me explain. Don't just sit back and wait for the ball to come to you. Get out there and actively seek out opportunities to make plays. Tip number 9, study other players. Watch how the pros approach the game and try to incorporate their strategies into your own playstyle. That brings me to my 10th and final tip. Number 10, practice, practice, practice. The more you play, the more you'll get a feel for the controls and be able to anticipate your opponent's moves. So keep at it and don't give up. With these tips in mind, you'll be well on your way to becoming a Rocket League SideSwipe pro. Good luck and happy gaming.